This to speak on it today is 7/23/22. My name is Malik. This is a production of the CAN TV nonprofit division, nonprofit organization, Retro Current Team. I'm trying to get that down to a science, but you got to pay homage to everything. But I was telling somebody on the phone the other day, I said, when I come on, it's sort of awkward to me. But there's no way not to say what nonprofit, because that's part of being here. So when you have that little space there, just understand that I'm following a script, and the script is to be correct. Because this program, and I say program, I'm talking about Chicago Access Network. Back in the day, when me, Boys, and Harold, and other people was here down on Green Street and woo. And now we down here on Woods. Man, there's a lot of history in this. But only because of the foresight of people like Harold Washington and others have people like me been able to take this opportunity. So we will always try to acknowledge and be humble. Tonight we finna look at something that's interesting from the jump. And I'm gonna say this. I saw something on the internet last night, but it didn't have a video. But it had a picture of Bishop Jakes. And he was saying that the problem, I'm gonna just say in the Negro race, he didn't use Negro, he said in the world, is that we, society, is trying to raise women as men. I said, that's deep. But because I couldn't find a video, I wasn't going to deal with it, but the spirit kept vibrating in my ear. The problem with the world is that this damn society is trying to raise women up as men. That's the absolute truth. God must have spoke through him, but the media decided, I guess, not to have a video, so you just see the picture and discount it. Now let me show you what I mean. Now we got a politician, look like a beautiful politician. And when I say beauty, I don't mean sexually as it relates to me as an individual, beautiful as it relates to looking healthy, sounding intelligent. But I want you to look at her. A politician, and she'll tell you where she's from. And then wonder, why would somebody of that caliber, you would think, suggest in her behavior that she had little character? And let me be clear, the whole thing about turkey, whatever you call it, I call it tweaking, whatever in the hell. Tweaking is when you doing that pipe and you just out your mind. That's what these creatures be doing. They got their shaking their booty, but they ain't doing what that activity really represents. In many parts of so-called Africa and other cultures and traditions, there is a spiritual female ritual ceremony that is part of, not just walking around shaking your behind. But these here, they want to run up on cars and buses and just show their little nasty tails. So when I saw this with this politician being suspended from one of the social media platforms, TikTok, I said, what the hell did she do? You'll see in a minute, and I don't see too much wrong with what she did, because that's her business. But I'll say a little bit more about that after you see it, but we start off with that. But look like Amari has found the piece I tell you about, to be being stop doo-doo-doo. Is that a video, Brother Amari?
This breaks all sociological orders of the culture we're living in now. Because we are raising up women to be men. And you are not applauded for your femininity. You are applauded in the contemporary society by how tough, rough, nasty, mean, aggressive, hateful, possessive you are, and you are climbing the corporate ladder, but we are losing our families. I know you can buy your own car. I know you can buy your own house. But until you create a need that I can pour into, I have no place in your life. So stop coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me and wonder why I shy away. Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk back to me this morning.
Woo-wee. Thank you, Amari. Whew. No wonder they didn't show nothing but a picture. You know what I'm saying? Amari, would you please send that to my device so I can use it next week on the other medium, on the radio. Because see, and now as we sit here, Amari, if you will, on the feed, you'll see Michelle Obama, and she's speaking. And then there's an older woman, a grandmama, she's speaking. So if you can find those as we go through the show, I would like people to hear those in the backdrop of what Bishop Jakes said. Now, we weren't going that far because we did not have a video. But let's just look at this piece here. And if you get a chance, matter of fact, I try to send you that piece with Michelle Obama because she's going to echo something that somebody might be able to benefit from. But let's look at this politician.
To the beach, I'm in a bathing suit.
Some say it's not just about what she's wearing, but what she's doing. Twerking in a headstand, getting national attention.
Was that the goal, or what was the goal? Yeah, so when I first created my TikTok, it was either the day of or the day after the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
As a way, she says, to draw attention to the issues she cares about.
Vote Senator Mack. I've gotten a lot of negative attention before. It doesn't faze me at all.
Senator Tiara Mack tells me she prides herself in leading with joy, empathy, and respect for all people, and will always be unapologetically herself.
Some content's not for everyone. Everything is not for everyone. TikTok generation, I'm new to it myself, but it is definitely a platform to get more young people engaged in the local issues.
The now viral video sparking a lot of reaction, not just in Rhode Island, but across the nation. The Rhode Island GOP says Senator Mack is bringing unnecessary attention to the state. In a statement, a party spokesperson says Mack should focus on serving her constituents by increasing the educational performance of students in her district instead of trying to get attention on social media. They say she was hired to do a job, and it is time for her to take that role seriously.
I think it's a little ridiculous, and it is indicative of the treatment that I've gotten since I've been in office as a queer black woman.
Mack tells me she's always been held to a different standard.
I can have an Ivy League degree and be a seated state senator, and someone will always find a reason for my body, my actions, and my words to not be enough. I've passed legislation as a black woman for the community, and I hope to continue to do more of that.
Mack introduced the Sexual Assault Survivors Bill of Rights, which just recently passed in the Rhode Island State House.
Anyone who says that we have not done work and that I am not doing the work has obviously not been paying attention to my platform, and that's why I twerk for the people.
Twerking for the people, hoping to draw attention to issues important to her.
Trans rights, LGBTQ plus rights, protecting black women. I think the attention should not be focused on my body and what I was wearing. It should be much more focused on the real issues.
You know, that's part of the problem with these new generations.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to this.
You know, they think everybody's just so stupid but them. She thinks she can just speak those words and use that little, what she would call, what I would call ooze, after you see her with her booty poking to the heavens. And that's for the people. Okay, that's her business, that's her body. You know, it ain't nothing. My point is, you wonder why society is out of control? It's back to what Bishop Jakes said. These females have definitely lost their damn mind. You's a politician, supposed to be an upright woman, supposed to be an example. And you tell me standing up with your booty in the air, shaking your behind, that's pathetic. But you have that right. But in this day and time, a man can't speak on that. But at an upright man, good man, no man with foolishness on his mind, been walking down the beach and spoke to her. She wouldn't have heard him speaking if he would have complimented her. She wouldn't have heard the compliment, but she would have pressed charges that he was trying to sexually harass her. She would have. But what was she doing? You was out there like a Jezebel, shaking your ass. But if the man look at you, say anything to you, then this society has gotten to the point that the man is a criminal. Y'all see? Women used to have a standard. But now they have fell so low trying to be men. But men got more sense than that. But if a man was out there showing his booty like that, he have a case. Indecent exposure. You see the double standard? Now, I don't care nothing about a person's preference. Man, come on. Don't none of us really care. We don't. But when you're in public, your private, we just But now, these creatures they got in place now, they just want to be flaming hot. They want to put it in your face, and then you say, whoa. Or if you look at it, then they point the finger at you, and now this society has devolved to the extent that now the woman is out of control. I don't mean being controlled by the man, but being controlled by a spirit of filth. Oh, that's my opinion. Just like what Pastor Jakes was saying. But he was telling the truth. Now, I can't speak the truth on his level of notoriety, but the truth is what it is. She has a right. And if that's her method of getting across, that's cool. But I just wanted to share that because sound like she's intelligent. She don't look retarded. She don't look deformed. She don't look slow. But what she was doing was like you already know. All right, Amara, let's go on down to number 2. Let's get off of that. It's amazing.
All right, Chicago's mayor is focusing on some big news in her city, not the crime, which has gotten to be quite the embarrassment and quite the problem and quite the lethal one at that, the economic recovery. Yeah, economic recovery. Grady Trimble in Chicago with more on all of this. Explain, Grady.
Neil, Mayor Lori Lightfoot is headed to Europe to try to attract businesses to the Windy City. She says that Chicago's economy is thriving and that the city is poised to have the best economic rebound from the pandemic out of all the major cities in the United States. That is the pitch she's going to make on her trip to Paris and London this week. She's expected to sell the Windy City to business leaders as a financial technology company hub, citing several fintech companies that have raised nearly $500 million in VC money. In announcing this trip to London and Paris, though, Lightfoot failed to mention the 3 major companies that recently announced they're packing their bags too, but not for a 5-day trip to Europe. Boeing, Caterpillar, and Ken Griffin Citadel all said in the past couple of months they're permanently leaving Illinois and the Chicago area. All of those companies, by the way, headed to lower tax states. At least in the case of Citadel, you referenced crime. We know that was a factor. Griffin has complained about it a lot. Violent crime in Chicago is up 34% from a year ago. The Illinois Policy Institute had this to say about the mayor's travels. Politicians such as Lightfoot should be listening to instead of ignoring Chicagoans' calls for basic reforms to end nickel and diming taxation. That would improve the city's business climate much more than a trip halfway across the globe to ask other countries to prop up our shrinking landscape. We have reached out to Mayor Lori Lightfoot's office, Neil, to ask how she plans to address this exodus of major businesses from Chicago while she's meeting with politicians and business leaders in Europe. We have not heard back. Neil?
Just a matter of time. Grady Trimble, thank you very much. My friend Grady in Chicago.
I think something is really seriously happening as it relates to Lightfoot. I think she's completely out of touch with the reality of the experiences of citizens, Negro citizens in particular, in Chicago. She seemed to be, it's like a person that don't understand or don't hear or don't see the reality. She's over there and she took some of the aldermen, and I haven't been able to find what really happened in that city council meeting concerning that speed camera that's 6 miles an hour. But from what I understand the other night, they was telling me that what happened is she took a couple of them always vote with the incumbent, always support the incumbent Negro elected creatures with her. But I think, it probably went against the people because she put a lot of energy out there against the people. But if you all remember, when she came in and they gave amnesty because of some ticket situations from other administrations. That means she just erased all of that money. But then she has come in and she's done worse than the ones who she erased it for. But it's the same people that's suffering. But as we go forward, you're going to see why I'm bringing it. And no, I don't have any type of nothing negative as it relates to slamming her. I'm dealing with the policies. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with what I see. I'm dealing with what I experience. So, it is what it is. But the bottom line is, something is wrong here. Crime got everybody crying. Hell, it's hot. I don't like air conditioning. I don't. I'm one of those that air condition, that artificial air, like anything else artificial, it give me a cold. I ain't got no time. So I can't even drive my car with the windows halfway down because a criminal can get his hand in the window if I stop at the light. No, I just have to be conscious like that. And when the car get too hot, the air conditioner automatically kick on. But hell, I don't want to be burning up unnecessary gas. I'm talking about as a senior citizen, these are things we live with. It's because of the fear of the violence. If your window is too far down and a sucker can get his hand in there, he got the advantage. So you have to keep your window up in the summertime and it's 97 degrees and this creature running around like an ostrich with the head in the ground. And her booty, the ostrich booty, poking at the sky just like that female politician from Rhode Island. Come on with this other piece, brother.
You can still see the tire marks left behind here at this intersection as a new ordinance could see cars involved in drag racing taken in by police.
I just hope they don't come back tonight.
Sounds of screeching tires waking neighbors out of their sleep.
It was interrupted by a party out here.
While outside of Kate Breckenridge's building near Monroe and Clinton in the West Loop, this was the unruly sight she says lasted for hours, starting around 2 Sunday morning.
The police came, but they didn't have enough police to do anything about it because there were probably over 100 people here.
She says when more officers were able to respond, police tell us just before 4:30, fireworks were being thrown at them. One officer was hit, and nearly an hour later, police say a 17-year-old boy was arrested. He's now charged with aggravated assault to a police officer.
It's really unfortunate because, yeah, you know what? We all did dumb things as kids, but this is to another level, and it's dangerous for the public.
While Julie Darling from the West Loop Community Organization is hoping more is done to keep the reckless driving off the streets.
We just hope the city is going to address it.
First, fines and fees are not enough.
City Alderman Marty Quinn planning to steer in that direction as the ordinance he's co-sponsoring could give CPD the authority to impound cars involved in this type of recklessness behind the wheel.
My hope is that this ordinance that we pass will add additional teeth, and hopefully this sort of conduct will cease once they realize that they can lose their car.
And that full city council vote is expected on Wednesday.
Now let me just say this, and then we're going to run the other pieces back to back because we're going to a point on this. But let me say this. When I say she seemed to be so clueless, you know, it seemed like to me, anybody that's got any type of consciousness know that communities are suffering because people are driving up and down residential streets and all type of streets doing that. They are. They're just driving all type of ways. And a lot of that's got to do with those games that these creatures are looking at. So they acting out the game. And, you know, drag racing in Chicago, that's something that just don't really fit Chicago, we would think. But we've been hearing about it. We've been seeing it. But now, this particular person, Matt, instead of doing what that community, which is a white community, is suggesting, you're going to see for us over. Oh, Amari, I just saw it. The Obama piece and the woman above her. Yeah, let's just go back. We're going to take, I want to see this one when the time comes, and then the one keep coming down, because that just, no, the other way then for you. That's this old woman. Oh, I don't mean no harm. And we want to see her because she got a message. And continue, because there's another woman. These messages are to our people, not just as it relates to what we're talking about, but really as it relates to what Bishop Jakes was talking about. But these two will suffice. Now, Amara, just run these pieces about, and when I say that, I actually mean number 4, number 5, and number 6. Those pieces will allow me to do one commentary, and that commentary will deal with how Lightfoot is going to deal with drag racing. How the city council have made a decision to deal with drag racing, but how she's actually finna be a conduit for more crime and more pain for the citizens of Chicago. It's finna happen. Just watch. And there was another. Yeah. All right, that piece, I thought I had sent those pieces so they would be on the new feed so you didn't have to do all that work, because that's a lot of work you're having to do. It's not too much else down there, but it should be on the feed because I sent them this morning and I'm almost certain they're there. Now, all right, that piece, that was a news piece, Fox 32. Well, just whatever you got, just come on with it tomorrow. We'll get through it. That piece of work.
It has already been a fourth, and people downtown have heard the chaos probably overnight. Roseanne is in Studio 32 with video. We just got into the newsroom, Roseanne.
That's right, and this was all within earshot of Fox 32. We were getting ready for the early news when we heard a lot of explosions and noise coming from the street. And this is that video just into the newsroom a short time ago. You can see these people doing donuts in the street at Michigan and Columbus. And you can see police trying to contain it all. But it appears some people in the crowd were firing off fireworks at the police cars. That's what people who watched from their buildings said it looked like to them. This all happening around 3:30 this morning, again, as we were preparing to go on the air this morning. Police were also on Lower Randolph, where cars were said to be driving wildly. Quite the commotion. So far, police only tell us that they're looking into what happened overnight. They haven't said anything about arrests. But again, all of us who heard the commotion from the newsroom this morning now know what was going down. Anita?
Yeah, I was hearing all those sirens and I was like, what is going on outside? Thank you, Roseanne. Okay, Vice.
Now there's a piece about the city council. I guess, I don't know how they was able to do anything. She gave them permission to take some credit for passing a city ordinance that could cost people up to $10,000. Now that piece should be up there fresh $10,000, and I'm sure losing your car and a whole lot of other things as it relates to drag racing. That's interesting, huh? Why would you be encouraging a situation
Play fast with new games from Fast Play
to get people, once again, entrapped? She's good at this entrapment. And the way she's gotten some of these aldermen, other than taking them to Paris with her, and you know a Negro that can get on the plane and fly to Paris with somebody, oh man, they be bragging forever. But that's what she do. She done figured out a way to give these people a crumb and to give them a little tricky in the neighborhood, like I was looking on Madison and Pulaski. They got a building there, they doing something, all these white folks up on the scaffolds and doing something. What difference do it make? Hot damn it, Irvin, you sitting here, she done gave you some money to rehab a building there and made like you're gonna have businesses, please. As long as them dudes standing out there selling that dope, stinking up the place, ain't nobody gonna come like that. And as soon as they get sent off, they gonna tear it up anyhow. But what you should do, Alderman, is represent your community. Don't let a little trick where they're using taxpayers' money to improve business, office space, or whatever in the hell it is. What you should do is stop saying that those are entrepreneurs out there selling dope that ain't in the dispensary. I mean, they've been selling dope as long as I can remember. Right there, all day, all night, selling dope. And I can speak on that because I used to sell product, but I wasn't selling dope. We were selling artistic work because we was using our hands, making walking canes and other type of things. And me and James Ely, God rest his soul, we used to work that strip. That's when they had the bucket of blood and other type of spots over there where you couldn't come there like these little Johnny-come-latelys. But this alderman say, oh, they entrepreneurs. They ain't drug dealers. No, maybe they ain't because marijuana is legal. Maybe they ain't drug dealers, but they was doing it before it was legal. And they doing it still. No, I don't want them locked up, but I would expect that an alderman would have enough damn sense to know selling dope out of your pocket don't make you an entrepreneur. It make you still what you are, a dope dealer. That's the problem. So when the election comes, not only should we be trying to replace the mayor, I said that. We should be replacing anybody that don't represent the interests of the people. Play this piece, brother.
Columbus and Spencer now, with individuals in the middle of the circle. Is it on fire? I'm sorry, you said it's 102. It's on fire right now with individuals in the middle of the circle.
I'm not quite sure what happened to the volume or anything else, but let's just watch it. Apparently you need to see it. Look at it. I want you to think. But she don't see nothing wrong with this. She don't see how this contributes to more crime. And I guess if that's what they showed as it relates to the fine being $10,000, well, that'll work. You know, ain't no major. We'll go for that. But I was thinking, and maybe I overlooked the fact that it didn't have another video to that. So let's go to the one then, Omari, number 6, where Chicago hosts NASCAR street race downtown in 2023. That's the one that I really have shown these pieces in order to get to. That piece is what she, right there, I think, to go back up, the one she holding it in her hand. Keep going that way. Keep. It'll look like the piece where she holding a globe in her hand, and I think it was up higher or down higher, whatever in the hell this thing does. But she's hosted a situation where, she's enabling, man. She's setting up something, finna set something loose in Chicago. Not only is it going to create all type of confusion and crime. I don't understand who's advising her. Because she, like I said, she don't seem to have, right there, she don't seem to have no understanding of nothing. Now, listen to this foolishness. Now, all of that you just saw, I want you to listen to this piece here. And we ain't going to play the whole thing, but I want you to listen to this. And she don't see how all of that we just saw is criminal. But now she finna reward the mentality.
In the history of our sport, NASCAR.
You think they drive fast on Lakeshore Drive now?
Wait till NASCAR hits the street.
Fox 32's Dane Placco reports the city is putting plans for a street race into overdrive.
NASCAR superstar Bubba Wallace giving us a taste of what we'll see and especially hear on the streets of downtown Chicago starting next year.
This promises to be one of the most exciting announcements in NASCAR history.
The first ever NASCAR Chicago Street Race weekend will be held July 1st and 2nd next year and each of the next 2 years after that.
And I think the excitement is now going to be off the charts, and people are really going to be looking forward to July of 2023 when the cars hit the streets here.
And while the exact route could change, the course will center around Grant Park, starting at Columbus and Jackson, going as far south as Roosevelt, and perhaps also incorporating Michigan Avenue and Lakeshore Drive.
When you think about the iconic skyline, you think about the iconic landmarks around the city, you know, Navy Pier, Cloud Gate, a handful of them. To actually have our NASCAR Cup cars racing around the streets of Chicago is going to be something just incredible.
To promote the race, Wallace drove his souped-up Toyota Camry to several iconic Chicago locations, including Buckingham Fountain, Navy Pier, and Soldier Field, and then talked about the challenges of an urban street race.
You know, we got to make sure there's passing zones, right? Make sure there's straightaways long enough to abort if something does happen. You know, the corners are going to be tight.
Mayor Lightfoot would not say how much it'll cost the city to put on the event, repaving roads and putting up concrete barriers and massive crowd control, but says it should pay off in millions of dollars in revenue.
The opportunities for restaurants, bars, hotels, and to bring people to Chicago, literally, but also figuratively.
Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
It's going to be wild.
Mm-hmm. You know something? I really don't know what to say. You know, but that's what happens when you keep doing this. When I say you, I'm talking about us, the voters. We keep electing wannabes. And that's what this is. This is a person that has no more damn business in that seat as a damn ostrich.
Dear sir,
I am anxious to
Anybody
learn about
can see the connection between that $10,000 fine and what she finna bring for people to imitate and create havoc in a city that's already bleeding from that havoc. But instead of her coming up with a solution other than a $10,000 fine and taking your car, what does she do? She go come up with a whole bunch of confusion that will produce more criminals. Now remember, by that time, that phase one of the casino order will probably be in place.
This week, City Council
is talking about doing it around the 1st and the 2nd of July. 4th of July finna come into play. Now, don't you know all type of people going to be out there imitating that. All type of crime coming out of that. But she or her people have not had enough sense to know that. And that's their solution to help those people who saying we don't want this, the business people, the TV network people. This is what they do. Hell of a thing, isn't it? You all need to really reconsider what you do when you go vote for this election and whenever it is for mayor and those other positions. Come on, 4 more years of that? You know, this is a person that's out of control. And she got a bunch of aldermen down there that's out of control with her. And some of them just got elected. But they done got a taste of that money. And, you know, they don't remember what they said to get elected. But clearly, they are not working in the best interest of the community. They're not. And I actually don't care how you feel about the rawness of these words. You got a problem here. And then you go bring this. And you stand there acting like you're doing something great. But yet, you want to charge the hell out of poor senior citizens who might not be able to see too clear for going 26 miles an hour when the sign says 20. So you want to charge them for 6 miles over and want to demonize Alderman Beal and Lopez for representing the citizens, saying, look here, let's take it back up to 10, give the people a break, because really it ain't no thing. But they give you tickets even when school is out. Park is closed. They figure you stupid and you don't know that they don't supposed to give you the ticket, so they send you the ticket anyway, and you go pay it $35 because you don't want to lose your car because you forgot to pay it, and they come take your house and your car and your life. That's her. But now she gonna bring somebody in here that got a car running 260 miles an hour in the loop on Lakeshore Drive, on Columbus Drive, Lower Wacker Drive. And don't think that somebody gonna be down there imitating that behavior, pretending they own their damn game in their house or they part of NASCAR. She can't see that. Well, if she can't see that, don't let her be there in 2023 to pull that off. That's what you need to do. We had a dude on here the other day, Officer Collins, and he's running for mayor. He's a police officer. And he is a no-nonsense cop, 29 years. But he's from the hood, Henry Hunter. But he know that people in Chicago are looking for safety, not for no damn street racing. You understand that? That is not a priority for the people that live nowhere in Chicago other than that little clique that you represent. Because you damn sure ain't representing the white folk we saw on these news clips who were saying, man, this is disturbing the hell out of us. So who are you doing this for? Why? Come on, y'all. We gotta move around. Don't just sit here and just go along to get along. Because right now, this character will take you to hell, and it won't be no coming back. Next piece, brother. Now, I think we finna transition on because it's time to get out of here almost. Now, Mayor Lightfoot, number 7. Mayor Lightfoot
speed camera limit
hints
this week. City Council
strongly that she will veto if the City Council raise the threshold.
Or over.
Just over.
Today, Lightfoot stopped short of threatening to veto.
It makes no sense for us to be increasing the speeds around parks and schools when we know what the horrific consequences are for pedestrians and for other drivers.
The mayor pushing back against those who call it a money grab. However, she previously admitted that raising the limit would cost the city nearly $45 million in revenue. Back in June, the City Council Finance Committee voted by a slim margin to raise the limit back to 10. There are 162 speed cameras across Chicago.
It's true. Everyone gets a free new Samsung Galaxy S22.
Now let me ask you something. You see the hypocrisy of that? I mean, this is an egotistical creature. You want to talk about damages? You want to talk about lost lives? Think about this real drag racing that you bring in here that's going to be imitated by 11 and 12-year-old drivers, stealing cars and hijacking cars. Many of them going to get killed because old school dudes ain't going to allow these little thugs to be stealing their vehicles and running it like that. So they're going to be killing them. They are. You're going to create a war throughout this city because of your vanity and your lack of understanding what's important to the citizens of this town. And I ain't talking about them you call yourself representing. I'm talking about those Negroes and other disenfranchised people that don't have a sanctuary city, that don't have a sanctuary place. And here you are bringing more havoc to their lives. What a sadness. Oh, this is commentary, y'all. And it's my opinion. Bring your behind down here, go through the training, and get your own damn show, and you can come in and say what you got to say. But other than that, this is what I'm speaking on. Be clear. Sit there and mumble under your damn breath. Bite your tongue. I said it, and I stand on it. All right, brother. Show us this here victim. Now, this ain't on the city, but this is on the damn governor.
Pandemic.
What is he doing?
Okay,
he's going to show this one first.
But
there's one with this woman that got shot up out there on I-57. We want to show you her. But run this piece here.
Organizations are struggling to take them all in. And this show knows a little bit about pet chickens. We investigated the trend earlier this year.
Someone once told me that chickens are so dumb, if you face them in a corner, they can't get out. Is that true?
Whoever made that up has something against birds, and it's not true at all. They know exactly what to do. Sometimes they get stuck in corners, but for the most part, they can figure it out.
How many do you're totally winning me over, by the way. I'm just going to be honest about it. How many chickens do you have?
I have 30.
Tiara Solem is the woman you just saw in that clip. She is a chicken ambassador, and she joins us now with her 2 chickens on screen, Trish and Karen. And they're here to tell Americans to stop abandoning chickens. Tiara, can I just say, I was told you won Tucker over, and I feel like I should say at the outset, you might have to win me over as well. Chickens being abandoned, why is this a major problem?
You know, I kind of take offense to people that are getting chickens, planning to raise them, keeping them as pets, and then changing their mind and deciding that they just want to put them in a box or surrender them at a shelter. I don't think that's fair. People don't do that when they get dogs. They keep them till the end, and I don't know why chickens should be treated any differently. They're super low maintenance. They're easy to take care of if you have the right setup. So I'm not sure why people are surrendering their animals to shelters.
Well, you know, you said something key there. You said people adopting them as pets and then surrendering them. I tend to think of the chicken as sort of a beast of burden. It's an animal that we have to lay eggs or eventually, potentially, serve as a meal. But if you adopt it as a pet, then you should probably keep it as a pet. And yet that's not what's happening?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because they're chickens, so they treat them differently, and they're just like, oh, you know, whatever, they won't mind. They're just birds, they're not going to remember. But chickens have facial recognition. They're actually a lot more intelligent than people think. And so for them to get them, raise them, have them as pets for eggs or whatever, and then to just kick them to the curb, I don't like it.
On the screen while you're talking is a video of you. I believe this is you in the act of rescuing Tiara. I'm sorry, you are Tiara. Excuse me, Tiara. In the act of rescuing Trish. Trish, I believe, is Trish the
all right, we can go to something else to say this time. Now, I'll make a comment. Now, the reason I wanted this on there was to show you a thing or two. In Chicago, in the Negro neighborhood, you better not hear no rooster crow. In the Hispanic neighborhood, they crow every 5 minutes. You understand? Now, I would like to have me a rooster, because they'll wake you up and they whatever. But I know that, you know, firecrackers, gunshots, all of that's okay in the Negro neighborhood. But try having a chicken. And I hear these white folks here, they petting them.
To the woman with
place it, instead of sending the chicken back to the damn shelter, the farm, just gone and do what we always done. Put him in the pot. Put him in the skillet. He's a pet, and so was that cow. So was that goat. So was that pig. But see how white folks got it? They can just have their fun and eat it too. And like I say, you know, they ain't got no thing against these people be having they farm animals in their yard. But a nigga can't even have a cat. Can't have a dog. Cause them Negroes in his community will go call and tell lies. So you know if you have a chicken, they're gonna be inspecting his building and everything. But I'm telling you, all them Mexicans that moving into the Austin and Inglewood and them other Negro areas, they coming with their chickens. And them chickens be crowing just like you down south on the farm. And ain't nobody saying a damn thing. But let a nigga get a chicken. They got us chicken. We scared. So here we are, knowing everybody in this city can find sanctuary but the descendants of slaves. And then you got one running around here treating us worse than any white man that's ever been since my time. And the rest of y'all trying to act like you in denial. Y'all better snap out of denial and see what's happening in your butt. Don't let them little trickets. Another little tricket over there on Laramie, Chicago Avenue. Bank that used to be there. What the hell y'all think? Just because they give these foreigners jobs to come here and refix the buildings and shit, you aldermen thinking that you benefiting? You ain't benefiting because there ain't no people around these spots that you doing that's going to have money to go in them to do anything. And like I said earlier about the one on Madison and Pulaski, stop playing with us, politicians. Soon as something go wrong, the police whoop one of them clowns for doing something stupid, or they just decide to go off, they gonna tear up those buildings. Alderman, ain't nobody around the area where you doing all of this. Instead of you using that money to build up or rehab some of these abandoned buildings and let the Negroes that's living in the streets fix those buildings, learn a trade, and then take ownership by doing the option to buy as you rent or whatever. No, you don't want to do that. You want to take the money, give it to these illegal people, and then give them $75,000 to fix the building. They stay in Mexico 9 months of the year, but they take up all of the vacant space in the Negro community. That's what you do with the money. And then you stupid aldermen think we supposed to celebrate that you letting everybody benefit and prosper, but the people that's been there. Man, come on. The game she running on y'all is just ridiculous. Y'all are crazier than them damn chickens. Put you in a corner and you can't find your way out. At least the chicken find themselves a way out sometime, but you aldermen that always support the incumbent, man, they need to put you in a skillet. Go to the next one, man. Let's move on. Get out of here.
6 bullet wounds and very few answers tonight, it sounds like.
Yeah, she doesn't have a lot of answers. Her name is Aaliyah Ivory, and she spoke to me from her hospital bed. She was shot a total of 6 times and has already undergone 2 surgeries. Now she wants the man that was taken handcuffed to be charged.
He grazed my face.
Aaliyah Ivory says the hail of gunfire didn't stop there. It's evident from looking at the back of her car. This image shows at least 5 bullet holes right through the back passenger side.
I was trying to get over, but when he see me getting over, the man didn't want to let me over, so he tried to run me off the road. So yet and still, I still tried to get in front of him, so that way I can get away.
The 24-year-old was leaving the south suburbs on I-57, traveling northbound at Vollmer Road Saturday at 1:50 in the afternoon when she says road rage turned into gunfire.
Shot my car 5 times, 4 times in the back, twice in the front, so that's 6. And I got hit all those times.
After Ivory was shot, this video shows she exited the car crying in excruciating pain. We blurred the video because the man hasn't been charged yet, but in it, you see he's cuffed and put in the back of an Illinois State Police squad car.
I told whoever I drew my gun at him, but we both concealed the carry. I was so scared, I couldn't even get to my gun fast enough. My gun had its safety on it. They can do any type of test to see I never discharged my firearm, anything.
Ivory's 2-year-old daughter normally rides on the side where the shots were fired, and Ivory says this could have ended much differently.
It could have been way worse. The 2 bullets in my back, one of them was 2 centimeters away from my spine. Then my nerves and my hand.
As of right now, state police won't tell us if the man seen in that video was ever arrested. Investigators did say, though, both parties are cooperating with their investigation. At the live desk tonight, I'm Tia Ewing. Natalie?
See, that road rage is out of hand. But you just, you got to learn, man, and try to discipline yourself. I'm telling you. Now she's supposed to be able to carry a gun, but I guess she didn't have time to think about getting it and start shooting back. Plus she had a child in the back of the car. But whatever it was, dude shot her. That's some deep stuff. And then you got these damn politicians running around like this ain't happening. Flying they behind all the way to Paris. Talking about bringing business in. You got other rich white folks taking their businesses from here. Why? Because of crime. And you, man, running this number 10 and 11. This folks stabbed, even if you don't find the video for that, I just want to use the idea on CTA. 4 people stabbed this morning. Now, okay, lately I've been seeing more stabbings than guns. So what you gonna do now? You gonna start blaming the knife? That's my point. It ain't about the gun. It's about the mentality of violence. It's about the fact that there are no consequences. It's about the fact that you got sorry behind politicians. Like the governor. Where is he at? When they ran up on that car, that state policeman's car, and stomped his windshields out. Where was the governor? Now they done shot this woman on the expressway. Where is the damn governor? We know that people's in Chicago, police can't chase nobody and catch them. But governor, don't you have state police, National Guard, that you can help on the expressways? Huh? No, you're too busy, like these other politicians, thinking selling dope is the thing to do. Doing everything but dealing with what's real. But that's y'all business. And I'm pushing it because there is the election coming up real soon. And I'm telling you, 4 more years, you had a chance to elect a black candidate to be in the race for governor with $40 million from one of the people that left the city, and you dumb behind Negroes refused to vote for him because he said he was a Republican? You dumb, stupid. What difference do it make? Had you went and voted for him, you have a different choice to make. But no, you've been programmed. So now you're going to have the same old for another 4 more years. What a disgrace. Yeah, well, do this piece about that 13-year-old boy. Nah, don't worry about it. They charged him. I hope they charge him as an adult. Took the car, little bastard. Kids in the car. They probably ain't gonna do nothing with him, let him out. But y'all seen it, 13-year-old. The one they shot up there in Chicago and Cicero, he 13-year-old. These little 13-year-old, 11-year-olds, these little rascals, somebody need to do something to let these grown folks know. You can't treat these young'uns like they little innocent kids. You got to take them somewhere and lock their behinds up and subject them to some serious hard punishment. You do.
Once again, violence on the CTA to tell you about. Police are investigating after several people were stabbed on the Red Line. Joni is live with what we know so far. Joni?
Sylvia, this is the CTA's station, Red Line station at Clybourn and North Avenue, a very busy commuter station. In fact, people are trying to come here to make their way to work, but they have to find an alternate means of transportation. It's still blocked off for this investigation into a stabbing here. 4 or 5 people stabbed at about 2 in the morning at this station. Now, police believe the assaults happened in the train station. The CTA reports that there was a disturbance on board a southbound Red Line train station this morning, and I'm told that there is a trail of blood from the platform up the stairs and out the street. There are reports that some of the victims are in serious condition. Police are going to various hospitals to get statements from the victims to learn just what happened here. 4 or 5 people stabbed in a disturbance on the Red Line at Clybourn and North Avenue. The CTA released a statement this morning saying that CTA will continue to assist CPD in its investigations, including sharing any video from our security camera system. Now, the CTA reports that trains are running, but they are bypassing this station. There will be shuttle buses between Fullerton Avenue and State and Lake while police continue with this investigation. 4 to 5 people stabbed here. Reporting live, I'm Joni Lum. Now back to you.
Now that's a mass stabbing. Now all y'all talking about the gun. Now, mass stabbing. Now people ain't gonna be able to have a knife now. You got to change the attitude. You got to change the mentality. And you damn politicians got to start acting like you are more than just rubber stamps of somebody that got a few pennies to give you.
If you're in the market
Represent the
for those
people.
original stories in a moment, but first breaking news.
Stop wasting your energy talking about gun, and deal with the fact that crime is a crime is a crime. Whether it's a knife, whether it's a gun, whether it's a baseball bat, whatever it is, if it's creating the end result, that's what you deal with, that mindset, that attitude. But when the politicians run around acting like criminals, being bullies, you understand? Then that's part of what they support. Yeah, I had somebody wrote something somewhere on Facebook. Me talking like this with these new generations, they call this bully talk. Can you imagine? Here I am expressing myself, but they got social media. These little creatures. They say, oh, his voice, his tone of voice, his amplifying. Oh, that's bully talk. We can't let him be on. Ain't that something? Now the Constitution says you got a right to talk. And all of that garbage they have on social media with all that filth, that's okay. But let a Negro try to speak with amplifying gift that God gave him to get the word across. Then you little AIs and little new generations that want to tweak your behind to the skies. You want to say a nigga like me is what? Bullying you because you scared, because it sounds too harsh. Go somewhere and sit down. All right, man. If you can see it, 48% are hourly working. What you got here? Yo, that's good, Amara. I'm glad you found it.
Police say the mother does food delivery and was handing over an order when the teen jumped into the vehicle. We're told the mother was clinging to the hood when he took off. The car crashed on the city's west side near Ohio and Christiana. The children, ages 4 and 7, were not injured. Charges are now pending.
Now think about
I almost
that.
got like goosebumps.
And then you running around now, you want to bring NASCAR here for that little bastard to be out there imitating them drivers, snatching some other cars. You see? You're clueless. 13. And you say, oh, he need love. All right. You need love, huh? No, you're incapable of understanding the real problems happening in the streets of Chicago with ordinary Negroes. Run this piece, brother. It's going to be a little redundant, but we want people to hear it anyway.
It was a child himself. 2 children.
Well, apparently, okay.
Children are safe after being taken by a carjacker. Police say the suspect was a child himself. He was only 13 years old. Police say the teen attacked a delivery driver, stole her car. This was yesterday afternoon on the 600 block of North Christiana Avenue. Less than a block later, that 13-year-old jumped from the moving vehicle, letting it crash into a fence. Investigators say the victims, 4 and 7 years old, were in the backseat the entire time. Fortunately, they were not hurt. The 13-year-old suspect has been charged with aggravated vehicular hijacking and aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
Now listen to all of that. That dude sound like he's worse than 33-year-old people. I don't want to say 24 because y'all say their brain ain't developed. Now think about him and the one that got shot on Chicago and Cicero the other night. You running around talking about he's such a victim. Think about it. Same 13 years old. Now he paralyzed. But what was he doing? He was doing or getting ready to do or have already done what Devin just did.
American Home Shield is a home service.
And think
plan
about the
provider
14-year-old that got killed over there in them Hispanic area and running from the police. And then they say, well, police can't chase nobody no more. You see, you can't change. Every time a criminal decides to do something, you change so the criminal can just keep doing it because the numbers getting lower and lower. But that's because when you're a wannabe and you get in a position and you don't know how to be, You just make a mess. And I'm telling you, man, I'm going to tell you, I'm not sure, and I hate to say it, but I'm not sure I'm going to be doing too much more voting after this election if it don't go any different. 1 in 5 people voted in the last little gimmick where ain't no place for people like me to vote, and that is for an independent candidate other than a damn Democrat, Republican, or Libertarian. Get the hell out of here. Why don't you have a party here for independence for real? And you sorry but Negroes in Springfield, why don't you come up with a system that allows people to vote, or come up with a party to say demonstrate independent party for anybody that don't want to vote according to what's already here. Hell no, I'm not going to get on the train or nothing else and go to Springfield and try to lobby for a damn thing. I ain't. I can just don't vote. The rest of y'all deal with that insanity. But the truth of the matter, y'all lucky that I didn't deal with some of this back in the day. But back in the day, I was doing other things. But right now, I'm just not going to use the energy I got for the rest of my days to do much more than you see me doing right here on this TV, and that's running my mouth. You need to get up off your 50-year-old behind and get out there and change this thing. Otherwise, these new generations that tweak their behinds to the skies, talking about tweaking, whatever the hell you call it, for the people and getting elected, you better listen to Bishop Jakes. See, can you find that piece by Michelle, or what's her name? Michelle Obama. No diss to Mrs. Obama. But if you don't see it, it is what it is. But the reason I wanted to show it because it was related to what...
The highest inflation rate in more than 40 years is pushing many Americans past their financial limits.
You can do that.
In tonight's Eye on America, CBS's Adriana Diaz meets one family that's been forced to take out high-interest loans just to afford the gas they need to take their daughter for life-saving medical treatment.
15-year-old Ginger Vincent's health depends on a key calculation.
Do we have enough gas to do it? Because we got appointments on Wednesday, appointments on Thursday.
Ginger, who lives for sports, was diagnosed with bone cancer more than a year ago.
The first thought that I had was, don't cry. I was in front of my parents and I wanted to be strong for them.
It's just hard to see her like that. She was so healthy and vibrant. Smart. Just to see her wasting away in bed.
Parents Keith and Annalisa Vincent have watched Ginger go through chemo and multiple surgeries, even lung surgery, just last week.
Physical therapy,
Ginger's
CT scan.
Ginger's appointments, including physical therapy, are at times more than an hour away from her home in rural Indiana. With gas prices more than doubling in the past year, the family now spends more than $200 a week on gas. Money they don't always have.
Let's pay the mortgage first. Let's pay the majority of the bills. But at the end of the day, I said, wait a minute, we do not have money for gas.
You've been in that situation?
Oh yeah. So I end up like going to Instant Cash. That's our best friend right now.
Instant Cash?
Instant Cash.
Those are short-term, high-interest loans they need to afford transportation to Ginger's appointments.
Thank you.
They've cut back on groceries, a sacrifice not lost on their daughter.
Having to watch them, we have to pay this bill, we have to pay that, and I'm downstairs and I hear all of that. It just seems so stressful and I just feel bad for them.
The Vincents say they're keeping their eyes on what matters.
People have certain bickerings, everyday trials. Oh, rent, food, but you kind of like work it out. When you got cancer, that kind of stuff fades away.
We're not worried about, even though we can't afford certain things. The big picture is her.
For Eye on America, I'm Adriana Diaz in Monterey, Indiana.
Yeah, see what you so-called woke folks has brought on yourself? But then you keep saying, Trump did it. No, Trump ain't doing this. This is because you just, you don't allow a virus to turn into a pandemic because you don't want to face it. What we are dealing with is ridiculous. People suffering. But then you want to pretend. Run this piece and then run Michelle and then we out of here.
Had him for 54 years.
we had mothers to raise us. They raised us to be women, raise our own children.
Yes,
see, y'all go pick them. All y'all want somebody you can put your hand on and whine and all cutting and all that foolishness. A woman has to be a woman. A woman places in a home. A man places to provide. And if he don't provide, then you don't need him.
So, Mama Agnes, what kind of women like us dudes just choose? How do you feel about us just choosing all these, you know?
I don't feel anything because I got my man. I've been had him for 54 years. And I always had to be a woman. I've been a woman. Look, I've been working since I was 7. I've been raising children since I was 5. I've been cooking since I was 4.5. And these women today, all they know is McDonald's, fast foods and stuff. They don't know nothing about cooking and feeding no man. Or wait till a man hardens through his stomach. Get you behind in there and cook.
You know.
And feed him.
And what about the
and make sure he get up off his butt and go to work.
Is that something that's missing in this community?
No, the women sorry. Now, they may not like me for saying it, but these younger women today, they don't even raise their children. Their children raising them. Look, a woman places to raise her children, and at the end of the day, tell their husbands which one they had to almost kill. That's how that go. That's why the juvenile center is so full, and they're expanding the jails because mothers don't raise their children and putting the blame on the man. And the man ain't worth a quarter because he won't work.
Mama Agnes, before, you know, and with Facebook, because, you know, they listen to everything you say.
I'm telling the truth, and I can't stand it. Because I'm 72 years old, and I still don't mind working. I ain't scared of work. They stay in the system and use up the elderly money. They been in the system and lay out there and get all them children and expect us to help them take care of them. I'm sick of it.
Just a little something. Straight up truth. But I know it's too raw for you. But I not care. I not care. I'm going to give it to you. Straight up truth. Because that's what our people need. Our people, we got to snap out of this, y'all. Because right now, we act like we don't know better. I know we know better. It's in your DNA to know better. It's in your DNA to know what that lady was talking about. It's in your DNA to know that. But for you to go around, now we don't have the time, so we'll skip that one. I'm thinking about it. I'm looking at this clock. I know Amara and them got their time.
Marry somebody who is your equal. And to marry somebody and to be with somebody who wants you to win as much as you want them to win. I was talking to a good friend of mine earlier today about thinking about marriage like we think about sports and like you picking your team, right? I mean, my husband is my teammate, and if we are going to win this game together, he has to be strong and he has to be okay with me being strong. I do not want a weak player on my team, nor does he. But sometimes we accept weak in one another because it feels easy. And be cautious of the man or woman who wants just the easy person, the person who's not going to force them to grow, the person who's not going to expect them to change, who's not going to hold them accountable. Because if you want to be on a winning team, just like you pick somebody, you wouldn't pick somebody off the bench who's just going to show up weak. You want to pick somebody who is going to carry you through, and those are the things that get you over the hard times.
But Michelle, you said something interesting. You said marry someone who's your equal. We're at a stage now where many women earn men, and I think that's very difficult for some men. And I've gotten to the place where I don't want to be a nurse or a purse. So when you say marry somebody who's
I like that, Gail.
A nurse or a purse.
I like that.
So when you say, and I would like him to have his own teeth too. So when you say you're equal, what do you mean by that?
And equality is not just measured in terms of the wallet. I'm not just talking about, you gotta be this person or that person. Equality in terms of the values that they carry. It's like honesty, I mean, look, honesty for me is the beginning, the middle, and the end. I just wouldn't want to be bothered with somebody that I couldn't trust on a day-to-day basis. Because so I'm trustworthy, so I expect my partner to be trustworthy.
You said something to me years ago when you all first went on this journey. You said Barack Obama has never disappointed you in the things that matter.
Absolutely.
I've never ever forgotten that because I think that's such a good barometer.
And those are the things you fall back on.
Yes,
it's the basic core of who the person is. So it's not just about how much money they make or what their title is. We get lost in that kind of stuff. And we sometimes wind up with the wrong people because somebody could have the right title and the right salary and the wrong heart, the wrong soul, the wrong core.
Now, just figure we leave you with that. Just figure we leave you with that. We started with the woman with a head in the sand and a booty in the air. But we ended with a woman, two women, hopefully, that will inspire you to be better. How you run this tree here, Brother Omari? I mean, it's very short, and it speaks for itself. I don't even have to speak after. Today is 7/21/22. Just want you to look at this creature here. This is a serious tree. See that elbow? See them arms raised to heaven? See that face up there? Those eyes, just check it. Check them eyes, huh? Check it. Now, pretty good sized fellow, huh? Look at him. How long has he been here? How long? The power of nature. Yeah, I knock on wood regular, thanking the wood for its shade. That's right, you need to try the same. The next week, Allah, peace, and good health.